Hey, how you doing today? I hope you're doing good. Today, we're going to be making some croissants.
You're going to finish that croissant.
They're going to have black garlic in them. They're going to be pretty good. This is my first time making them. All right, let's make some croissants.
We'll be using a stand mixer to make these croissants today. If you don't have a stand mixer, you can do them by hand, but it may be a little more difficult to do. Begin by measuring out 605 grams or 4 2/3 cups of flour. To this you will add 66 grams or 1/3 cup of sugar. Next you'll add 12 grams of salt or 1 tablespoon and 1 teaspoon. And finally you'll add 7 grams or 2 1/4 teaspoon of active yeast. Give this a stir and then we'll move on to the wet ingredients. You're going to measure out 120 grams or half a cup of milk. To this you will measure 214 grams or 3/4 cup of water. Bring this over to your microwave and heat until warm. With your stand mixer attached, you're going to make a well in your flour mixture. Pour in your wet ingredients and attach a dough hook and proceed to mix on low speed. We're going to mix for about 8 to 10 minutes until a tight ball is formed. Once your dough ball comes together, we're going to cover it with a damp towel and let it rest for at least 10 minutes. 10 minutes later, we're going to reattach that dough hook and mix for 8 to 10 minutes on low to medium speed again. While doing this, you're going to slowly add in 57 grams or 1/4 cup of cold butter that has been cubed. You'll also have to mix down the side of the bowl as I show here every so often. Your dough ball should be slightly tacky but not sticky. You don't want it to stick completely to your hands when you grab it. Form your dough into a ball and place it on your work surface. Take a sharp knife and make these cuts that I do here. This will help the dough proof into a square, making it easier to roll out in the long run. Let this rest on your counter for 1 hour until 1½ size, and then you'll place it in your refrigerator for at least 4 hours or up to 12. It's time for the butter. We're going to get out 340 grams or 1 1/2 cup of European butter. I'm going to be adding some black garlic to mine, but you can skip this part if you want. So we're going to place the softened butter in a mixer, and we're going to throw in the black garlic and beat it on high until the black garlic is completely mixed in. Black garlic is very umami and savory, and it's going to fit very well inside these croissants. Place your cold butter onto a piece of parchment paper and then fold it up into a little packet like this. You want to make sure your butter is completely contained so it doesn't seam out the sides when you're beating it. Grab a rolling pin and start beating it. You're going to beat this until it starts filling up the sides of the parchment paper. You want to get at least a 1/2 inch layer. Grab a ruler and make sure your butter is at least 8 inches. Then we're going to fold this back up and leave a little bit of space on each side to fill it out even more. The goal here is to get as flat as possible and move out any air pockets. With your butter block completely flat, transfer it to the fridge and then grab your dough. Your dough should now be double in size. We want to punch it down to get any excess gas bubbles out. Take the same plastic wrap you used as a lid and then wrap your dough up in it. Roll this dough like you did your butter until it fills the edges, and then we're going to place it in the freezer for about 20 minutes. Bring it back from the freezer, and our goal here is to roll out your dough to 16 inches long by 8 inches wide. Your dough should be colder than your butter at this point. You want your butter to bend but not break. We're going to enclose it now. Stretch that side closest to you towards the middle of the dough. We're going to do the same thing to the other side. You just want each side to touch. Your dough should be pretty pliable, so you want to make sure you close up those edges and pinch up those sides to prevent your butter from squeezing out. Turn your dough so the seam is facing vertical. Begin to beat your dough with your rolling pin. This is going to help merge the butter to the dough and create some layers. We want to roll it out to 16 inches long by 8 inches wide, just like we did earlier. And begin to fold again. You're going to fold them towards the middle, pressing down the seams. Completely fold the dough onto itself, and you're going to create what is called a book. This is going to be 4 even layers. Refrigerate your book for 1 hour and then bring it out and start beating it like this. We're going to roll this back out with our rolling pin and then roll it out into a slab like we did before. Fold the dough onto itself like a book. You're going to do the first third and then the second third over the first third. Wrap this tightly in plastic and place in the refrigerator for 1 more hour. It's been 1 hour and now we're going to roll our dough back out. Don't worry, we're almost done with the rolling. When your slab is about 16 inches long by 8 inches wide, tightly wrap it in plastic and place it on a sheet pan and throw it in your fridge overnight for 8 to 12 hours. The next morning, place some water in a skillet and bring it to a simmer and then you're going to put it in the very bottom of your oven. This is going to help create steam to help the croissants proof. Take a dough cutter or pizza wheel and trim off the edges. We want to make our dough as square as possible. Every 4 inches, make a little notch in your dough and trim out sections all the way to the end. You can use a ruler to get as straight edges as possible. Then you'll cut these sections diagonally to create triangles. As gently as possible, start with the fat end and slowly roll it up, pinching as you go along. When you get to the end, you're going to slightly press down the top of them to help seal the deal. And look at all those beautiful layers we created.
Onions have layers. Ogres have layers.
I'll show you one more time how to roll those croissants. Slightly tug on the edge of the dough, slightly tug on the tip, stretch it out, roll and pinch. You want to get it as tight as possible without applying too much pressure. Tightly wrap your croissants and place them into the oven and proof for at least 2 hours until doubled in size. Once they've doubled in size, gently lift that plastic off. Place these in your refrigerator for 20 minutes and preheat your oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. The mixture we're using is 1 egg yolk and 1 tablespoon of heavy cream. You just want to brush the tops of these, not the sides. If you brush the sides, it's going to close up the layers and you're not going to get a beautiful puffy croissant. Bake for 20 minutes and then rotate your pans and bake for an additional 15 to 20 minutes. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you make croissants. These came out beautiful. They were shiny, crispy, golden brown, and oh so flaky. Yeah, Pillsbury Doughboy, you got nothing on me.
We just made our own croissants, and look at these bad boys. These are absolutely gorgeous. Let's listen to that crunch. Now all of them came out perfect, I'll admit it. This one looks like a cinnamon roll. Mistakes made. It could have been anything from letting them sit out too long. The butter got too warm, so it started to melt out the sides, but I mean, come on. You can't deny we made some good croissants today. On the outside, these are gorgeous. Chewy, crispy. The black garlic is fantastic. It's very, very mommy savory. This is amazing. I highly recommend you make this. All right. Make sure to like and subscribe. We'll see you later.